Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 359 based on novel. So let's start. Finally let me wait until this day. After Shorenshi, seeing the 5 strong men's body aura plummeting and no longer having any fighting power, Lin Yunshu gently walked from the throne to the 5 people, sneered, voice it turned out to be filled with an unprecedented relief. Damn it. At this time, the 5 people were dying of breath in their bodies, and they could only look up at the princess with great difficulty. How did you do it? At this moment, the leader of the 5, the old man of 7-star Xiao Yan, asked incredulously. Since this princess returned from the Shenling continent, they discovered that she possessed the power of stars in her body, so she was secretly imprisoned in this garden palace, and her every move was under her surveillance. How did she manage to win over so many strong? The most important thing is the national treasure in his hands. Thousands of wooden boxes. The 10,000 wooden box contains an extremely fierce aura. Once it is completely activated by the royal bloodline, it can make all wood attributes lose their combat effectiveness in a short time. Thank you Xiao Yang for this. Of course Xiao Yang brought this to me. Lin Yunshu nodded lightly. Yesterday, Lin Yunshu and Xiao Yang had a lot of conversations, and this plan was also a part of it, but the 10,000 wooden box was not brought by Xiao Yang. The princess said this. I am afraid it is just to create momentum for Xiao Yang. Take them down and keep them under strict supervision. After a while, Lin Yunshu smiled lightly. Now that these people have been completely resolved, the power is in hand, and just now has enough strength to compete with the other 2 powerhouses. Lin Yunshu, you imprisoned a few of us, but you forgot the huge power behind us. If there is no order from us, I'm afraid you. Looking at Lin Yunshu's methods, the expressions of the 5 of them suddenly changed. At this time, Lin Yunshu clapped his hands lightly, and suddenly several quite similar figures poured in from the back door of the conference room. How is this possible? Lin Yunshu. Looking at the 5 people pouring in front of them, both in appearance and aura, they were very similar to the 5 of them. At this moment, they finally realized the seriousness of the matter. It would be great if you were obedient. Your strength, they will inherit it for you. Take it. The majestic voice sounded like a queen's anger. Yes, your royal highness. As soon as the voice fell, the guy with Lin Yunshu's Chishing fighting immortal as the main leader took the 5 people down. This time, I'm afraid they will end up in hell. My subordinates pay tribute to her royal highness. The next moment, the 5 fake Lin Hao who had just emerged smiled respectfully. Go back and remember not to reveal any clues. After you go back, set up your own forces. I'm afraid it won't take long for the real storm. The princess stared into the distance and shook her head slightly. Yes. These 5 people are very similar in body and appearance, so that their breath is disguised, so it is extremely difficult for people to detect. After some restlessness, the meeting room here was getting quiet again, only Xiao Yang and Lin Yunshu were left. It's very clever. I thought there was going to be a fierce battle. Xiao Yang waved his hands helplessly and sat on his seat. These guys have heavy soldiers in their hands and have long wanted to do this. It's just a matter of taking you here today, Lin Yunshu said with a smile. Is there anything else I need to do? Although Lin Yunshu smiled in relief, Xiao Yang still sensed a trace of concern and immediately asked. Just waiting for your words. Lin Yunshu smiled maliciously when he heard the words. Sure enough. Xiao Yang also had a feeling of being calculated. Now that my Tianyuan mountains are completely settled, I am waiting for the real election day to enter the empire and compete with the other 2. However, I always feel that the father's condition is not so simple. It seems that he was maliciously targeted. Lin Yunshu analyzed carefully. Is there any news? Xiao Yang immediately became interested when he heard this. A dignified 7-star fighting immortal complete powerhouse can still be afflicted by illness, even bedridden, which is a bit too serious and strange. This matter should be related to the other 2. They are all suspects, but there is no iron evidence to prove. There is a coastal town in the Tianqing continent. After returning from where, the father became infected with a special disease, which became more and more severe. Lin Yunshu kept saying, is there a specific location? Xiao Yang nodded, knowing the importance of the matter. Yes, it is a coastal town. It is said that there have been sea beasts making trouble recently, but now the election day is approaching, and I have to be in Tianqing City, even my subordinates. Once I leave, I will be discovered by the other 2 electors. So Xiao Yang, this time I want to ask you to help me find out. I think there is the truth about my father's illness. Lin Yunshu frowned, quite worried. Okay, no problem, leave it to me. Xiao Yang smiled lightly. This kind of thing was not too difficult for him. Xiao Yang, thank you. After the success, regardless of success or failure, I will open up a different dimension of immortal flames for you. At this moment, Lin Yunshu shook his head lightly and said quite playfully, Immortal. Yang. After Shun breathed, it was Xiao Yang's turn to be surprised. You already know? Xiao Yang looked at the rather playful princess in front of him in surprise and said, you were in the ghost world, luckily you were told by a subordinate, you are really a very powerful person, guy. Lin Yuna said with a smile. Hee hee. Xiao Yang nodded lightly. This time really served multiple purposes. Take a rest, tomorrow Lin Shuang will send you into the dark passage, which is the passage leading to the coastal town. But remember, you only have 3 months, and in 3 months, whether you realize the truth or not, you must come back, because 3 months later, I and the 3 electors will have an election. At that time, I need your help. Lin Yunshu's tone was solemn, and every word was filled with a faint worry. Okay. The two nodded, and it was quiet here. Immortal flame. I don't know if I can really rely on immortality to explore the enviable Supreme Avenue. Xiao Yang chuckled and walked towards his residence. Actually, they are all wrong. Isn't the power of the stars so easy? This power is not only related to the space that opened the immortal flame, but also related to the ruins of the fallen stars. But now of the 3 electors, I'm afraid I'm the one with a low chance of winning. Xiao Yang. Whether it will succeed this time will depend on you. While speaking, the princess slowly disappeared, and after the 5 heretics were imprisoned by her, she was replaced by one of her subordinates. The Qianyuan Mountains are unusually united, causing the strength here to skyrocket in a short period of time, making the other 2 princes feel vaguely uneasy, but behind this seemingly quiet, it is like a stormy sea is about to come. The next day, the sun was shining brightly and early in the morning, Xiao Yang was sent into the dark passage by Lin Shuang alone, heading towards the coastal town without disturbing anyone along the way. For an important bargaining chip, the less people know, the better it is for them. At the same time, this kind of news was known by the other 2 princes. Prince Lin Feng in the Tiansha Mountains, because he was busy wooing the Chinese military officials of the royal family, so he neglected it. After all, his character and force determine everything. Let the 7th princess do what, under his absolute force, it is also due to the sincerity of the people, but the Prince Lin Fengya who lives on the Tianshan Mountains has some strange movements. Prince, the 7th princess has sent someone to Shueyuan City. I'm afraid I already have some doubts about the emperor's condition. In the bamboo forest in the mountains, a rather elegant scholar pushed a wheelchair and said softly, send someone to keep an eye on it, now that the election is imminent, we must not make any mistakes. I'm afraid that kind of thing on the emperor's body will not last for 3 months. As long as he dies of poisoning before the election, then everything will go on according to our plan. During the speech, Lin Fengya's eyebrows were filled with confusion. A rare suffocating aura, this kind of breath is really out of bounds for the prince who is quite popular in peacetime. Yes, His Royal Highness. Nodding lightly, the scholar pushed the wheelchair to accompany the prince for a walk. Strange. Why does this place have an aura that disgusts me? Could it be a foreign evil race? Xiao Yang, who was in the dark channel, walked towards his destination, and a wave of uneasiness appeared in his body. This secret passage can only lead to the coastal town, so Xiao Yang's perception came from the front. At this moment, in the coastal town. This is a fairly fertile city called Shueyuan City. The city is close to the edge of the sea mouth. All kinds of boats and hunting equipment are readily available. There are quite broad reefs and beaches. In Minai, the city is quite prosperous, and people come and go in an endless stream. Obviously, this place is quite prosperous because it is far from the sea and is the throat of transportation. At this time, in the center of Shueyuan City, there was a magnificent garden. The garden was quite peaceful, and the big 3 characters, City Lord's Mansion, were written on the plaque. My lord, according to the secret letter sent by the prince, His Royal Highness the 7th Princess has secretly sent someone to come to us. It seems that he has noticed something. The prince said, at this last moment, let us not reveal any clues. At that time, in an airtight secret room in the garden of the mansion, 2 figures stood slightly. Of these 2 people, one of them was wrapped in black aura, apparently like a bodyguard in charge of intelligence, and the other was wearing a silver cloak, and golden animals appeared one after another on the cloak, which was quite luxurious and noble, and the breath revealed invisibly, it turned out to be chilling. Butler Tian. Although this guy's strength is only in the early stage of 5-star Dozian, He has the few fighting power in the entire Xueyuan city. No one will look down on him. In this city, except for the city lord, I am afraid that he has the highest status and power. Of one person. Well, I see, go back and tell the prince, as long as my share of the reward is a lot, let him send whoever comes, and I will wipe out the place. Butler Tian nodded lightly and smiled. My subordinates take orders. The black-clothed guard nodded lightly and disappeared here in an instant. Seventh princess, it's better not to know about this kind of thing. You don't have to come to this muddy water, and I'm afraid you will end up in trouble. After all, the things behind Xueyuan City are very involved, and it's not something you can handle with a mere girl, Susu. Butler Tian's face suddenly became a little distorted and muttered. Steward Tian, today is the patrol day of Xueyuan City. You and the city lord must go together. The city lord is already in the front hall. After Shun breathed, the stone door of the secret room was knocked by a guard. Okay. I'll go right now. Butler Tian sorted out and left gently. On the other side, the distance from Tianxing City to Xueyuan City was quite short, so it was half a day overcast, and Xiao Yang also arrived at his destination smoothly. This is the so-called choke point, and it really lives up to its reputation. At this time, Xiao Yang gently left the secret passage, stood alone on some rocks on the edge of the sea, looked at the bustling city, and smiled. However, Xiao Yang did not use any connections to find the person in charge of the city. Even if Lin Shuang handed him a token before leaving, this token was enough to make the city lord obey his orders obediently. Because Xiao Yang always felt that since the seventh princess said that this is the root cause of the disease, I am afraid that there is a big problem here, so before Xiao Yang found out the problem, he would not believe anyone. Although this city is prosperous, it always feels that something is wrong. Xiao Yang glanced away, and found that the waves were bursting with turbulent waves. The sweet sound, combined with the sound of the busy city, shook his head and said, Hey, this little brother, looking at your appearance, you are quite a face. After a while, the sea breeze blew, and suddenly some boats quietly docked not far away, and some fishermen who went to sea came back one after another, watching Xiao Yang alone. Here, I can't help but laugh. The people of Xueyuan City have always been simple, and many human beings have extremely thin fighting chi in their bodies. Some fishermen also go out to sea to fish to make a living. Hey, old man. I just came here, I'm a wandering wanderer, but I always feel that something is not right here. Does the old man know the reason? Seeing this, Xiao Yang grinned enthusiastically. Went up. Little brother, you don't know, since the emperor returned from us, he has suffered a serious illness, and there is no sign of recovery, so we are being watched by many guys. Originally, our place was very lively. After such a trip, the city is on strict guard, and we go out to fish without harvesting anything, so we don't know what the situation is. The old fisherman sighed and explained to Xiao Yang after hearing this. No, I think this place seems to be ill. Because there is a lack of vigor here. Xiao Yang shook his head. The huge city seemed to be filled with a morbid weakness. This kind of aura can only be faintly detected by the power of the soul. Anger. I really don't understand you, but let's enter the city as soon as possible. Today, the lord of the city will personally inspect everything in the city. If you have any questions, you can directly respond to the lord of the city. This kind of opportunity is rare. With some fish in your hand, quickly cross the reef beach and head towards the city. It seems that this place is a bit difficult. Xiao Yang glanced at the endless deep sea, a shock emerged, and even in the deep sea with no end, there was something vaguely making Xiao Yang extremely uncomfortable. Since ancient times, Xueyuan City has had an unwritten rule. At noon on the last day of the month at the end of each month, the city owner will go out to investigate many dangers and some unknown secrets in the city. Therefore, the security of Xueyuan City is also quite good. The lord of the city is here. Long live the lord of the city. At this time, in the center of the city, countless people voluntarily stood in the second row, and a well-trained soldier divided the crowd. It was so, and the enthusiastic atmosphere also made the blood boil in the body. Wu Kuan, the lord of Xueyuan City, the strong man of the ancient family in the city, is a subordinate who has sworn allegiance to the seventh princess, in the middle stage of the six-star fighting immortal. I remember Lin Shuang said that behind this guy there is a quite powerful water family. Support. Xiao Yang easily entered Xueyuan City, and he was also in the crowd at this time. Looking at the man riding a white horse on the street in the field, some information secretly poured into his heart. This guy is not the object of suspicion. After a glance, Xiao Yang also gave up staring at the city lord Wu Kuan. After all, relying on Xiao Yang's current huge soul power, unless the 7 stars fight immortals, it would be difficult to hide himself against him. Perception. My lord, under your leadership, Xueyuan City is becoming more and more prosperous. If the 7th princess can come here in person, I'm afraid I will be very pleased. In the center of the street, the city owner rode a white horse, and Tian's steward followed him, but this guy had a smile on his face and was also riding a white horse. Hopefully. But now some fishermen go out to fish, and they have no harvest, or even have gone forever. There is no such thing in the records of our Xueyuan City, but it should not be underestimated. Wu Kuan enthusiastically waved to these people and whispered, obviously aware of the problems they are facing now. This is the negligence of the subordinate, and the subordinate will deal with it in the near future. Listening to Wu Kuan reprimanding himself, Tian Butler smiled humbly. If that's the case, let's go. It's better to go back and solve other things as usual. As soon as the voice fell, the two and the guards started to march. In an instant, just as the two were about to leave for the next place, among the crowd, suddenly there were several men dressed as fishermen, with dazzling red lights emerging from their bodies, their pupils turning scarlet, and a breakthrough was made in one fell swoop. The soldiers blocked, the ****** mouth opened, and the blood-colored fangs emerged. The speed was so fast that it directly attacked the city lord. Guards, stop them. The crowd was full of voices. Now that the scene appeared, it naturally caused a lot of panic. At this time, Butler Tian snorted coldly, and suddenly several people who had already been hidden in the crowd, the speed of plainclothes skyrocketed, and they went to their uniforms. Bang bang bang. The fisherman, who was in a madness, ignored it, moving quickly and quickly, directly overcoming their obstruction in one fell swoop, biting his blood-colored fangs at Wu Kuan. With a sound, Wu Kuan's eyes closed gently, and suddenly a thick humidity filled the streets, and even the fisherman who had fallen into madness. He was actually bound by a silver blister, easily bound in place, unable to move. What's going on? Seeing Wu Kuan taking action to subdue several people, Butler Tian asked the guard beside him with a livid face. My lord, we have strictly checked the people who come and go. We really don't know about this kind of thing. When asked this way, these people couldn't help but muttered. Don't blame them for this. Come here, take these people back, and I will personally interrogate them. Wu Kuan lightly tapped, and suddenly the violent aura of several people suddenly diminished, and they fell into a coma. Maintain the order at the scene. Today's parade ends here. As soon as the voice fell, the white horse gave a high-pitched voice, and the crowd suddenly disappeared here. Is that a violent aura? Xiao Yang had been standing quietly among the crowd, and couldn't help but muttered at this moment. Wait, those people are my uncles, how can you do this? Just when the violent people were brought back by the city lord's mansion, a young man jumped out of the crowd and couldn't help roaring at him. Boy, don't confuse the public, get out of my way. However, no one paid any attention to this young man, and the soldiers kicked him aside. You demons in human skins, you should go to hell. The young man roared after being kicked aside, the corners of his eyes couldn't help turning red because of the pain. Boy, you are making trouble, I will take you back and send you to the water prison. Seeing this guy's stubbornness, the soldier roared. They are sick, the lord of the city will give you justice. Let's go. At this time, Xiao Yang stepped forward gently, supported the young man, and with all his strength, took this guy out of here. Little brother, let's talk. He easily took this man away from the noisy crowd and came to a no man's land. Xiao Yang said softly, relying on his intuition, what this guy should know. Okay, but I know what you want to ask. The young man pondered for a while, then stared at Xiao Yang's dark pupils, and said word by word, if it wasn't for Xiao Yang just now, I'm afraid he would be in quite a dangerous situation. After all, even if it was himself, if there is a mistake, these soldiers will also subdue themselves first to maintain order on the scene. It was my uncles who just attacked the city lord. The young man calmed down and whispered. Why did they attack the city lord? Do they have any deep hatred? Xiao Yang asked back. No. The lord of the city is quite friendly to the city, whether it is the mercenaries who go out to sea to kill sea beasts, or the fishermen like us. I don't know why they want to assassinate the lord of the city. The young man said blankly. This guy. Xiao Yang didn't interrupt him when he heard it. After all, this man's strength is only at the level of Dodi, and he is extremely weak, so if he lied, Xiao Yang would be able to recognize it at a glance. However, since not long ago, when we fishermen went out to fish, most of the time they didn't catch anything, and even some people did not return, and even if they caught a fish, that kind of fish was like crazy, and it was as big as before. Are not the same. And my uncle and the others just ate this kind of fish by mistake. This happened. They used to be quite enthusiastic, but after swallowing this kind of fish, they didn't say a word for the whole day. Once it was night or noon, they would go crazy and bite when they saw anyone. The young man was recalling road. Is there such a fish? Xiao Yang immediately realized the seriousness of the matter and said, no more. The man shook his head, wondering why Xiao Yang asked that. Where can I buy this kind of fish? Xiao Yang still didn't give up. If he could get one of this kind of fish, he might be able to discover a lot of secrets. It shouldn't be, but if you go to the mercenary union, there may be. The man thought for a while and hurriedly said, is there a mercenary union? Xiao Yang asked in surprise. No. But every time the mercenary union goes out to hunt sea beasts, they will get a lot of these fish, and they will seek help for their own safety. If you want to get this kind of fish, you can go to the mercenary union to have a look. The man said softly, you take this thing. If your uncle or a few of you have any problems, let me know as soon as possible, and I can help you. Xiao Yang gently handed a piece of soul power to the man, and suddenly disappeared like a ghost. Doxian Powerhouse. Seeing Xiao Yang's terrifying movement speed, the man gently accepted it and said with envy on his face. On that day, Xiao Yang left the young man's side directly, and immediately walked towards the city where the mercenary union was located. In this city, there are not only mercenary unions, but also other places where strong people gather, similar to the Alchemist Association, etc. However, Xiao Yang did not want to reveal his full strength for the time being, so he pretended a little. Qiao Zhuang was an ordinary mercenary, whose strength is hidden, only revealing a star-fighting immortal, and he left to the mercenary union after everything was done. According to the description of the young man just now, it seems that there are some things in this sea area that are not normal, and the fish that the fishermen hunted back are not normal. It happened that the mercenary union members would go out to sea, so for Xiao Yang, joining a mercenary group traveling together can be regarded as killing two birds with one stone. This mercenary union is really generous. Just when he arrived at the gate of the mercenary union, he looked up and looked at the huge and domineering building. Xiao Yang couldn't help but speak. The huge building is like a long sword all day long, and its shape is quite strange, but the conspicuous patterns on the walls of the building all reveal a solemn aura, and even some rather obscure aura diffuses slightly. The strength of that hidden powerhouse is probably not inferior to Xiao Yang. This mercenary union really lives up to its name. This lord. Just when Xiao Yang hesitated, some figures at the entrance of the trade union who were in charge of receiving mercenaries spoke up. One of the women's sweet voices emerged. She leaned forward, smiled at Xiao Yang, and even behind her, there were several dignified maids. Obviously this woman's identity was not low. Although they are all maids of the mercenary union here, but they have been here for a long time, they have also trained a pair of discerning eyes, and can distinguish some terrible guys in the crowd. They are all extremely accurate, and among the maids, there are 3, 6, 9, and so on. The red-clothed woman in front of her is obviously not low level. Xiao Yang didn't escape, he said coldly, and then walked towards the inside of the mercenary union with rather light steps. Sir, please come with me. At this time, looking at the man in front of him, the woman in red said respectfully, she had the highest status among these maids, and being accepted by him was enough to show Xiao Yang's extraordinariness. Moreover, this guy has a faint and stern aura. That kind of aura can only be possessed by a strong person who is walking outside the scene or even on the edge of life and death, so he is respected by these maids. After all, the scene is walking on the edge of life and death, and whether it is strength or wealth, it is far from being comparable to normal humans. I don't know if your lord came to the mercenary trade union because he wanted to issue a mission to summon thugs and guards, or to take up the mission to earn commissions. Just after entering the mercenary trade union, the maid in red brought Xiao Yang to a rather quiet, elegant place. From time to time, he gently picked up the tea in the house, and stared at Xiao Yang's every move. I didn't expect that the mercenary union would have such a good thing. Xiao Yang heard this, and nodded immediately. It seems that the next time he goes to find some monster blood or a place that is too dangerous, he can come to the mercenary union to issue a task and call some thugs. After all, with Xiao Yang's current pharmacist skills, I believe they can find many strong ones. My lord, haven't you been in contact with the mercenary union before? Seeing Xiao Yang's surprised expression, the red-clothed maid spoke gently. Xiao Yang heard the words, but did not speak, but his eyes became deep, and he stared at the maid lightly, and the dazzling soul power emerged like seawater. My lord, the little girl is wrong, I shouldn't have asked. The maid in red was slightly startled, and even her breathing became frozen. She had no doubt that Xiao Yang would be able to kill herself completely in the next moment. I'm here to take over the task. I'm in a hurry recently. It's best to find a mission that can make a lot of money out of the sea. Seeing that the red-clothed maid was not talking, Xiao Yang casually played with the tea set on the table and gently waved his hand, but when Xiao Yang just used his soul power, it was found that there was a rare wood attribute on this salary woman. I am afraid that this kind of power can only be possessed by the powerful royal family. I don't know why it would appear on a woman. Sir, you need to register your strength attribute information so that we can better collect tasks for you. Looking at the terrifying figure in front of him who was smiling and hiding a knife, the red-clothed maid whispered, Yang Xiao, Samsung fighting immortal. Xiao Yang thought for a while and said, in order to prevent unnecessary trouble, he concealed his real name and strength. Okay. If your lord has other sub-professionals, similar to the pharmacist formation mage, it will be quite popular. The red-clothed maid secretly wrote down the information in her heart, and just pushed the door and left. I'm still a 4th grade immortal pharmacist. Hearing the maid like this, Xiao Yang said with a smile. Sir, wait a moment. Hearing Xiao Yang's joking voice, the maid's delicate body suddenly shook, and then she quietly pushed the door and left. What a terrifying guy, just the soul power just now. I am afraid that it is more than the 4th grade. It seems that this guy is quite a mysterious guy, only adults can decide. After the maid finished speaking, she walked towards the back, leaving in the hall, obviously similar to Xiao Yang's level, must be decided by the real manager. 10 minutes later, inside the mercenary union. Why haven't pharmacists dared to go out to sea recently, and pharmacists can't stand the toss? It's just like the flowers in the greenhouse, so what is respectable, in my opinion, let's go home. At this time, in a hall inside the mercenary union, here is the daily registration and release tasks of the mercenary union. Many mercenaries and powerhouses will gather here at the venue for the mission. Of course, the special treatment like Xiao Yang, only some guys with tyrannical strength or tyrannical background can enjoy it. Yulong, don't say a word, after all, this matter is still a strange sea issue. After a while, one of the 3 men said vigilantly. The 3 men are quite ordinary in appearance, but the fierce evil spirit on their bodies is hard to hide. The man in white clothes is quite violent, the man in blue clothes is quite mysterious, and the man in black clothes seems to be the first of the 3, both in terms of strength and behavior. Pretty decent. The status of a pharmacist, let alone in the mere heavenly star continent, might be placed in any human realm. But if there is no pharmacist, we can't go out to sea at all. The kind of monster wind in the sea can only be dealt with by the soul power of a strong pharmacist. We've lost everything, and this time it's hard to pick up. Woo! The man in white just wanted to say, but his companion, the man in black, covered his mouth and nose. I heard that you are going to sea. Can you count me as one? For a while, Xiao Yang's figure came slightly to the 3 of them and stretched out his palm with a smile on his face. These 3 guys were naturally the best mercenary group that the maid in red had found for Xiao Yang. Hey this brother, we are just kidding. The man in black came out and said to the field. Boom. For a time, Xiao Yang didn't bother to talk nonsense with him, the spiritual palace in his body wriggled, and the soul power of the Fairyland level spread gently. Xian. Wonderland soul power? Seeing the terrifying formation of the black-shirted man in front of him, the 3 of them couldn't help but be surprised. Dear Alchemist, Your Excellency, you are welcome to join our Jasmine mercenary group. The guys in our group will handle the rest of the formalities for you. Tomorrow morning, we will pick you up and go to sea. The destination is the sea area. As for the purpose and reward, allow me to keep it a secret first, and I will tell you in person tomorrow. Do you think this is okay? While speaking, the man in black also smiled and stared at Xiao Yang and the maid in red beside him. Those who can be received by the red-clothed maids are probably strong people with different skills, so the black-clothed man has no doubts. Yang Xiao, it's a pleasure to work together. The 2 held their hands together and parted after a while. Trouble you. After a while, Xiao Yang said to the maid in red next to him, and Xiao Yang left here quite leisurely. This guy is a little scary. Inform Elder Jiu and the others to leave tomorrow. Seeing Xiao Yang's leaving figure, the 3 men spoke softly, and the man in Xingyi who had said nothing before whispered. The vast sea, the danger is unknown. That night, with such a terrifying biting incident in Shueyuan City, the whole city became panicky for a while. After all, the emperor's illness had not been reasonably explained. Now this kind of thing happened again, which naturally made the common people quite worried. Fear. Inside the city lord's mansion. Is the investigation clear? At this time, The city lord stood quietly in the underground cell and asked the soldiers beside him as he watched several men who were in a coma inside the cage. There is only one soldier and the city lord on the corridor of the cage, other than that. Bailu, the highest non-commissioned officer who masters the criminal purgatory of Xueyuan City. City lord, these people are the people who tried to bite you in the daytime. According to the investigation of the subordinates, they seem to have eaten some strange ingredients by mistake, so they fell into madness. Bailu glanced around and found the prison cell. There was no other figure in the room, so he said, "What's going on?" Bailu's cautious behavior was naturally discovered by Wu Kuan, and he asked with a frown. City Lord, while investigating the strange power in these people, the subordinates vaguely discovered something else. There is one thing that the subordinates don't know whether to say or not, whispered. Speak. Wu Kuan said with a livid face. These guys have a rather strange toxin power left in their bodies. This power has been seen in Tian Steward's house before. And at that time, the plague in Xueyuan City had been completely lifted, and this was also seen by my subordinate by chance. Bailu Wanghang opened his mouth slightly, and his body couldn't help but tremble. It has been completely eliminated, and what happened to Tian Steward's family may be enough to prove something. Butler Tian's contribution to Xueyuan City is obvious to all. If you maliciously slander this kind of hero, you will be punished by heaven. Listening to Bailu's words, Wu Kuan gave a cold voice, but Steward Tian also appeared in his mind. Some unusual moves recently. Yes. Your Excellency, this subordinate just mentioned it casually, and didn't mean to slander Steward Tian. It's just that something was wrong in Xueyuan City since the Emperor returned to contract a serious illness. Bailu said helplessly. I know about this. Remember not to let a third person know about it. The investigation of these people will continue. If necessary, after communicating with their family members, they will explore their internal organs at all costs, and must find some useful information. Wu Kuan dropped such a sentence and left here immediately. This kind of big man is really weird. Watching the city lord leave, Bailu gasped in relief. Decades ago, before the arrival of the emperor, a terrible plague occurred in Xueyuan City. The plague spread throughout the city, making it a ruined land. Just when countless people gave up, it was the city owner He Tian. The two housekeepers went to the sea alone to find the antidote and rescued the whole city. Since then, Xueyuan City has been quite convinced by the management of the city owner Wu Kuan and Tian Butler. The night passed slowly, the second day. Sir. In the early morning, there was a light knock on the door of the inn where Xiao Yang lived. It's really early, everyone. Xiao Yang pushed open the door and smiled at him, but today there was one more person besides the three in white clothes, blue clothes, and black clothes. Sir, this is Lord Yang Xiao, a Fairyland-level powerhouse. Respected pharmacist, this is Mr. Ji Yu from our Jasmine Mercenary Group, a late-stage 4-star Dozian. This time we go out to sea with Mr. Ji Yu as your escort, and he will do his best to protect your safety. By the way, I forgot to introduce. My name is Ning Ling. I am responsible for the large and small affairs of the mercenary group. My name is Tan Yulong in white, and Shen Tian in Xingyi. Just after the door was opened, 4 figures appeared outside the door, and Ning Ling in black introduced them one by one. Yang Xiao, I hope to have a happy cooperation. Xiao Yang stretched out his hand, but Xiao Yang vaguely sensed that this old man named Jiu Laro might have more strength than that. Let's go, the head of the group is pressing hard, we are running out of time, and we will talk about other things on the way. I hope Master Alchemist can't blame him. After a while, Ning Ling smiled gently, and immediately prepared to leave here and head towards the pier. Let's go. Xiao Yang didn't say more, and followed. On the other side, in the Mercenary Union. Vice President, why do you think the Jasmine Mercenary Group is so anxious this time? A man and a woman appeared in a rather luxurious inner hall in the Mercenary Union. The man's body was arrogant, with a rather sharp aura and strength, and the woman turned out to be the woman in red who received Xiao Yang yesterday. I don't know, but the Jasmine Mercenary Group has taken on 2 rather difficult tasks this time. The Vice President said coldly. Oh, I don't know what the mission is. The woman in red became interested and looked at the Vice President and said. One seems to be in mission. As for the other, it seems to be hunting a sea beast with many avilders in the sea. Little ancestor, this place is too dangerous, you should go back to the royal family. The Vice President looked at the woman in red in front of him with a sad face. Looks like it's interesting now. The woman in red didn't hear the Vice President's words all in her ears, she muttered and disappeared here. After the rest, a luxury ferry with a length of nearly 100 meters emerged from the dock. Starter. At this moment, on the deck of the ferry, the two figures were standing lightly. I heard that your Jasmine mercenary group is very famous in Xiao Yan City and has never failed. I hope you won't let me down this time. One of the women looked at the graceful woman in front of her with a hat on her face and said, "Don't worry, our Jasmine mercenary group has never missed a beat." Do Li Chenying smiled and did not explain too much. After all, her fierce murderous aura and the strength of the six-star fighting immortal were enough to explain everything. Do Li Chenying, the head of the Jasmine mercenary regiment, Jasmine, is said to be a beautiful woman, and she is also a powerful six-star fighting immortal. They are here. While speaking, Xiao Yang stepped onto the deck. Head of the regiment, this guy is the immortal rank alchemist. Now everything is ready, only Dongfeng. Just arrived on the deck, a total of 7 people, Ning Ling said heartily. This time the mission is successful, they can also make a lot of money, so everyone has a smile on their faces. After all, since the emperor fell ill, many times they have nothing to gain. Now this kind of big business, but not much. You have 5 minutes. You can inquire about everything related to this trip to sea. As the head of your Jasmine mercenary group, I have the right to tell you or not to tell you. Looking at Xiao Yang's dark pupils, the bamboo hat Chenying is a simple sentence. I don't need anything. I just finished my retreat. I want to go out and experience it. It happens to be some kind of devil sea beast that has been rumored in the waters of Shueyuan City. I want to see it. It's a worthwhile trip. The head of the Jasmine mercenary regiment was actually a female class, and her strength and aura were far beyond that of ordinary powerhouses. If that's the case, let's go. Elder Gu, protect him along the way. Remember, everything must be ordered by me, otherwise, even if you are an immortal alchemist, I will not be polite to you. After this is done, your reward will not be less. Jasmine glanced at Xiao Yang lightly. For some reason, she always felt that under Xiao Yang's seemingly harmless face, there seemed to be a devil living there. Set sail. With a soft sound, the huge and luxurious ferry moved slowly, heading towards the boundless sea from the pier. This video will end here.